What's up, everybody? So, I wanted to get on here and do a video that I've been trying to do for a little while, but I just want to talk about what it takes to be a good coach and a good client, um, and then what to look for, if you're doing like a coach search and that sort of thing. So, I'll just jump right into it. So, if you are looking for a coach, whether it's your first coach or whether it's a different coach, because for whatever reason, there's a lot of things to consider. So, the first thing that I would say to look at if you're considering a coach is their athletes. Um, as a coach, our product is the client we put on stage, right? So if we're putting out a great product, having great clients, repetitively, then it's, we're probably because we're, doing something right as a coach. So definitely look at the product that the coach is putting out. Maybe talk to some of those athletes, right? So if you see some athletes that a coach is working with, reach out to the athletes, say, hey, how's your experience with this coach? What do you think? Would you recommend them for me? I know that most of my athletes, just based on what I know about them, they would probably be willing to help out, in that situation, if you guys wanted to reach out about me. And I feel like most clients and coaches have, similar relationships and to where they'd be willing to do that. So, that's a big part of it. Look at their product they're putting out, look at the athletes they're putting out, and then talk to some of those athletes and see what their experience is like and see if it, might be a fit for you. The other thing, look at their philosophies. If you know what a coach or how a coach does things or why a coach does things or whatever, you might be able to decide if that's the right coach for you, if you agree with those things or if they make sense to you or whatever. If you're not a coach, you may not have enough knowledge to really, dig through those philosophies and make those decisions, and that's perfectly fine. That's why we're here. But ultimately, if you are able to kind of, pick through some of that stuff, then it's going to help you, to pick that coach because you do know that you're going to agree with what they're doing or understand it or at least not disagree with it. So another thing that you want to look at, responsiveness, right? So if you reach out to a coach, or a coach's business or whatever, are they getting back to you in a timely manner? Are they being professional? Are they acting interested in coaching you, right? Because if they're not interested in coaching you before you even start with them, how are they going to be after you've paid them, right? So that's something to think about too. See how their responsiveness is. And then again, going back to talking to some of the other athletes and stuff, how quickly are coaches responding to check-ins? You don't have to, as a coach, we don't have to respond immediately to a check-in or whatever, but taking a week or two is probably a little much, right? I know for me, I try to get my check-ins done same day. There are times when, maybe a late one comes in or maybe I'm traveling or something and I'll kind of stretch it out over a couple days or whatever. And I'm not saying that every coach should do them all same day because a lot of, some of the other coaches out there have way more clients than me and it's just almost impossible. So, figure out what that time frame looks like as far as responsiveness with check-ins with a coach and see if that's, something that you're going to be okay with, and then also, if you have questions or need explanations or whatever, you want to make sure that coach is going to respond in a timely manner to those types of things as well. So, figure out where that's at with that coach as well. You may not be somebody who needs, very much interaction or whatever, and that's fine. So just kind of figure out where you stand on that with the coach. So, whether they're responsive and how quickly and that sort of thing. Something else too, you want to look at a coach's attitude. We all have our good and bad days and that sort of thing. So, it's not really about maybe necessarily one thing you see or whatever, but just on a consistent basis, is the coach that you're interested in, are they positive? Are they excited about bodybuilding? Are they excited about their clients? Do they seem to like their clients? There's a lot of coaches out there that just, they put out good information because they're really smart or whatever. And, maybe their attitude isn't very good, right? Maybe they talk like everybody else is stupid or something like that. And, and I'm not talking about anybody specific, so don't worry, don't think about that. But my point is just make sure you find a coach with an attitude that you can deal with and that you'll appreciate, because that is important. So that's the other thing is just make sure that you can match, personalities and attitude and that sort of thing with the coach. So as far as that goes, obviously make sure that a coach is taking your health into consideration. Especially if you're a PED user, an enhanced athlete, you want to make sure that they're making you do blood work and considering health supplements for you and that kind of thing, because those things are important. And so those are pretty much the things you want to look at. The last thing that matters really, and obviously I'm on this side of that conversation, but the last thing that really matters is price, right? Obviously there's, we all have limitations as far as what we can afford and can't afford and are willing to pay. But when you reach out for a coach, your first thing doesn't need to be, hey, what is your price? Because you might find a coach that charges you almost nothing, but ruins your health or doesn't even respond to you for a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever, or just completely ignores you or whatever, right? So, yes, price is obviously a factor in that, but figure out, all the other stuff first, and then make sure that it's a good fit, because you might end up having a conversation with a coach, and you ask them up front, hey, what are your prices? They tell you, and you're like, oh no, I'm not doing that. But then if you give that coach a chance to connect with you, and you realize that it would be a really good fit, then maybe you should find a way to make it work. And I'm not really saying that for me, because as far as I'm aware, my prices are pretty average. But my point is, find a good coach. And then find a way to pay that coach. Don't find a coach you can afford and then just settle for whatever happens, because that's not necessarily going to be, in your best interest. Now, again, that the most expensive coach is not necessarily the best coach, and the cheapest coach isn't necessarily the worst coach. So find out the other things first, and then figure out pricing and that sort of thing as you go. So those are all the things to kind of look for when you're doing like a coach search. And then, hopefully, an ongoing relationship as far as, responsiveness and that kind of thing. So, I guess one more thing I want to kind of touch on with that, it's something I've kind of had a conversation with somebody about recently, but your coach is responsible for how you look, right? So what I mean by that is, if you're following the plan and being honest with your coach, then that coach is in charge of how you look on stage, right? So I don't know I don't know how other coaches feel about this and that kind of thing, but my opinion, okay, this is my opinion. So, again, I'm not speaking for other coaches in the industry, but my opinion and how I view my athletes and all that, if somebody gets on stage looking, really good, or really bad, that is on me, because I'm the one driving the ship. If they're following the plan, putting in maximal effort on everything I'm asking, doing the sets to failure and really getting there, pushing their weight on the other stuff, keeping their heart rate where I want it and cardio and those types of things, following the meal plan perfectly, giving me the data that I need, all those, if they're doing all the right stuff and they get on stage looking sloppy, that's on me 100%, right? I can't be upset with them because my plan didn't work the way that I wanted it to, right? That's not how this works. So just something to think about. If you're an athlete and you're hiring a coach, or you're working with a coach, the whole point of hiring a coach is so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. So, let your coach do that. Let your coach be concerned. If your weight goes up, or if you look soft one day or whatever, that's not your problem as an athlete. It's not your problem as a client, right? Your job is to follow the plan and provide the data and provide the feedback and everything that the coach is asking for. Whatever's happening with you, that's information for the coach, and it's the coach's job to make that adjustment. And then whatever happens after that, you'll make the next adjustment as a coach, or I will, or whatever. So my point is, you find a coach, and then you give them, you trust them, give them control over everything, let them drive the plan, you follow it, and then the results are kind of on them, right? Now that's not to say I deserve credit when my athletes look great, or all the credit or whatever, because they are putting in the work, and they are doing the cardio and eating the food and getting the sleep, right? Like that's something people forget about a lot. So really it's more, I can't take all the credit when somebody doesn't, or when somebody looks great, because they're the ones that are actually doing the work, right? Like I give them the plan, it's up to them to complete it. So if they look great, then that athlete deserves the credit, right? If they look sloppy, that athlete doesn't deserve the fault unless they didn't do something in the plan they were supposed to, or whatever. That's on me, right? So, ultimately it's my job to just not mess this up for people. If they're following and listening, then, their results are on me. Again, if it's bad and if it's good, then they definitely deserve some credit for following and putting in the work. So I just want to say that, it's something to kind of think about as a client, especially, you guys that are, my clients specifically, this is for you. You're not going to disappoint me ever. I'm not, even if you do mess the plan up or whatever, like I'm not here to yell at you or to gripe at you if you don't follow the plan. I'm here to give you the plan, give you the tools to follow the plan. If there's something that's going on with it that you need me to adjust because lifestyle or digestive issues or, sleep issues or hunger, whatever, like that's my job to adjust those things and to make the plan work for you. So, if something's going on, yes, there's some accountability and you need to be responsible for following the plan. However, if there are limiting factors or constraints or obstacles, then it's my job to adjust the plan to make it work for you. Now, obviously, there's some absolutes, within this bodybuilding thing and with losing fat or gaining muscle or whatever. There are some absolutes, but everybody's lifestyles are different. Everybody has different preferences and things. And so it's my job to, give you the plan and help you to succeed, whatever that might mean. So, if you're my athlete, don't worry about disappointing me or letting me down. That's not going to happen. That's not how this works. And I hope that with your coach, you feel the same way. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of to address that because it's something that I've sort of talked to some people about, or had one specific conversation and then had multiple conversations lately with people who just they don't want to let somebody down or let me down or whatever. And I just want you all to know that you're never going to let me down, right? Because I'm the one that's at fault if it's not right, on stage. And if you do great, then you deserve most of the credit for that. So anyway, kind of segue from that. How can you be a great client and a great athlete, or or a great client and then a good athlete for that coach or whatever? The first thing that I would say is pay attention, right? So if I send out something for you, whether it's an email or a spreadsheet or whatever it is, pay attention to everything. If it's something to read all of it. If I send you a video to watch all of it. If it's a plan, look at the whole plan. Whatever it looks like. So the biggest thing is pay attention and look through everything. So if I send you something, it's for a reason, right? So that's simple. So that's the first thing. You have to know what I'm sending you, and then from there, follow it, right? If it says, get within 10 of whatever protein, do it. If it says eat this meal, if it's on a meal plan or whatever, and I say eat this meal, this meal, and if you don't have the flexibility, within our plan to change it, then don't change it. Eat exactly what it says. If it says do X amount of cardio a week, so many days, do it. Workouts, do the workouts. So, the biggest thing is read everything, learn it, know what it says. If you have questions, ask, and then follow it. Okay. And so those are the first steps to being a great client. The next thing, and this is huge for me and most coaches actually probably, but provide the data that we need. So for me that means check-ins, or maybe blood work or whatever. So I have every client that I have check in with me weekly. Some are twice a week as shows get closer and that sort of thing. But my point is, there are regular check-ins and those are for a reason. So if I'm asking for something, whether it's how hungry are you, what's your energy like, pictures, whatever it is, provide that, right? Be thorough. Give me exactly what I'm asking for. So I'm asking for it. It's because I need that information to make decisions. So that's really important, is just, provide all the data that your coach needs in order to make, the best decisions. If you're missing something in your plan, skipping a cardio, or if you're, not eating a certain meal or changing up something or adding to the workout, subtracting, whatever, and you don't tell your coach about that, then the decisions we make and the changes we make aren't going to mean as much, or they might be completely wrong based on the data that we don't have. So provide all the data that we're asking for and, allow us to do our job and make the best decisions that we can. Another thing, communicate. And that kind of goes back in with the data and that sort of thing. So we're, obviously we're checking in, we're communicating there. If you're having issues, communicate. If you feel, like something's off with the plan or with the coach or whatever, communicate that. It's probably something that, at least on my end, that I'm willing to fix pretty quickly, whatever that is. Or I can explain to you why something is the way it is, and maybe it'll be a little bit easier to adhere to if you understand it. Or maybe it's something I can adjust or whatever. So communicate. If you have, if something's great, say that. It's fine. As a coach, I get a lot of messages with, "Hey, this is wrong. This is going on with me. I'm injured, whatever." And that's fine. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. I'm not complaining about that. However, every now and then I'll get one that says, "Hey, check this out. My delts are coming in, or my abs are looking great, or I'm feeling great about this, or whatever." That's awesome. I love those as well. And I'm here for that. So, if you're excited about something, you want to tell your coach, or at least me. I don't know about every other coach, but if you want to tell me that something's good, by all means, let me know, because I love getting some of that positive energy, in my day. Again, I'm here to solve the problems, and I want you to communicate those with me as well. So send those to me, and also, your coach, whoever that is. So communicate problems, communicate issues, whatever that looks like, and then also, communicate some positive stuff every now and then as well if you want to. Or if you're not somebody who wants to talk to your coach a lot, that's fine. But just make sure if there are issues, that you don't just ignore them, right? Whatever that may look like. And something else too. I guess this is kind of the last thing to kind of bring it back around. On both ends, be positive. Not everything's sunshine and rainbows in life, obviously. But as a coach, I can probably get more out of you as a client if you're positive, and excited and optimistic, right? If, every check-in I get, it's something about, how you don't like the way you look, or, you're not happy about your weight, whatever, that's not good for yourself, right? And then, there's not much I can really do with that information other than just say, I'm sorry that, the whatever it was, you didn't like it. But now that I've got the data, I'm going to make the adjustment that I'm going to make. And so now we're going to make sure progress is rolling. So, if you have an issue, obviously communicate that. If there's something that your coach can solve, especially if it's me, tell me about that, but also be positive as well. We all love what we're doing, hopefully. And so, if you're excited about bodybuilding, you're excited about getting results and stuff, have that mentality, when you're communicating with your coach and when you're going through the work each day, because we do get to do this, right? This is where nobody's forcing us to do this, for the most part. So just try and be positive through the experience. Obviously prep gets difficult and it gets really hard, and that's, that's part of it, but just try and be positive where you can. So those are some good things on, how to be a good client. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything on any of this. Ultimately, just to recap, it's a lot of it's about effort, right? So on both of our ends. So if you find a coach who's willing to put out a lot of effort and give you what you need, and put the work in to give you your plan on time and communicate with you and solve problems that you have and that kind of thing, then that's probably going to be a pretty good coach if they're putting in effort to. Another thing I actually should mention is make sure your coach is constantly learning and improving, right? Science is always changing. There are new, philosophies and methods out that people are using that might work better than some of the older methods, and a lot of health supplement science is coming out, that kind of thing. So just make sure that your coach is always trying to, continue to improve their education and their knowledge and their methods and all. So that's a big one. So ultimately, like I said, it's about effort, and that's another thing with effort. If you're putting in the effort to learn and educate yourself, then you're probably going to be a better coach. So as a coach, put in the effort, or look for a coach that's putting in effort for you as a client, and then as a client, put in the effort to read everything, follow the plan, provide the data as it's needed, check-ins and whatnot, and then communicate. It's all, there's a lot of effort there. And then, like I said, try and be positive, throughout the whole experience as much as you possibly can. Obviously, like I said, it gets hard, and there's some times when it can get pretty rough, in bodybuilding. But ultimately, like I said, we do this because we love it. So if you guys have anything to add, or if you thought I said something stupid, please feel free to comment below. Let me know if there's anything, from this that I can make another video that would clear up some things or whatever. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to not wait however many months it's been to do another one. And I will see you guys around.